السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. The last lesson we was covering this exercise which I believe we completed. Okay, so we'll quickly go through the exercise, and inshallah the plan is after the exercise I'll introduce you to the vocabulary that we have covered in the whole first lesson. Okay, the first lesson inshallah will be coming to a conclusion and a close, but before we actually complete the first lesson fully, what we want to do is we want to revisit all the words that we have covered inshallah in this lesson, and first I will introduce the words. To the best of my ability, inshallah, I'll mention the singular and the plural of the words. Then we will move on to a little kind of test as an exercise to see how well you know your vocabulary. Okay, so let's just inshallah get straight into this. Okay, so any of you want to inshallah do this exercise? What we want to do is, if you want, you can put in the chat, or if you want, you can read the exercise. It's up to you. It says "Iqra waktub." Okay, so let me just shine the laser. Okay, so "Iqra waktub," read and write. Okay, so we have the first sentence. Ma hada qalamun. So if anybody wants to put the translation, or you can say the translation if you want. So let's just go through this exercise inshallah, and then we'll move on to the next step. What is this? This is a pen. Okay, fine. Let's move on. هذا كلب. هذا كلب. This is a dog. Very good. Next one. من هذا? من هذا? Who is this? هذا طبيب. هذا طبيب. This is a doctor. هذا جمل. هذا جمل. This is a camel. Very good. Okay. Next we have أهذا كلب. أهذا كلب. أهذا كلب. Is this a dog? Okay, it's fine. لا هذا قط. لا هذا قط. Okay, no, this is a cat. Okay. Told you in Arabic, if you just change the vowels on certain words, it can actually change the meaning. Because there's another word in Arabic which is actually qattu. Qattu. And that actually comes to reinforce a negative statement in the past tense. So for example, somebody says ما ضربت زيدا قط. I never ever hit Zaid. I never hit Zaid at all. So it comes to reinforce something in the past tense, that you never ever did this. Like in the future tense, abadan is used. For example, لا أضرب زيدا abadan. I will never ever hit Zaid. But if you want to say I never ever hit Zaid in the past tense, you can just bring this word after the past tense verb. Qattu, not qittun. Qittun means cat, but if it was to be qattu, it will actually give the meaning of negative past tense, but reinforcing the statement. Okay. Next we have ahada deekun. I do apologize. I just got a bit of a sore throat and a flu, so bear with me. Ahada deekun. Is this a rooster, mashallah? Okay. Na'am. Yes. Okay. Ah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you've correct. Okay. Ahada hisanun. Ahada hisanun. Ahada hisan. Is this a horse? La. هذا حمار. No, this is a donkey. Good. هذا منديل. هذا منديل. This is a handkerchief. Okay. MashaAllah. It's good to see you spell handkerchief right. I think I'll probably would get that wrong as well. أهذا ولد. أهذا ولد. Is this a child? It's fine. Is this a boy? Yeah, you can say another word is used for boy as well. Anybody know that? For boy. In Urdu, it's normally used for like a slave as well. It's mentioned in the Quran as well, actually, third para, if I'm not wrong. Another word for boy. Starts with ghain. Tiflun means child. Starts with ghain. Ghain. In Urdu, it's used for slave. Yeah, ghulamun. Yes, ghulam is also used for boy as well. Na'am. Obviously, that's yes, so you don't need to write that. That's pretty straightforward. You've already done it before. Man hadha. What is this? No, we didn't say ma hadha. We said man hadha. Okay. Remember the function for yes, who is this? Okay, it's fine. هذا رجل. هذا رجل. هذا رجل. This is a man. Okay, it's fine, it's good. Okay, now we're just gonna inshallah move on to the next step. But just a quick reminder, I did put it on the Telegram group that the lessons, alhamdulillah, you're coming on time. I'm coming late, so I do apologize for that. I was about a minute late. It's just I was transferring a file which I thought I transferred today's lesson, but it didn't actually save on my USB, so I had to resend it from my laptop. The meeting link will be there for about 10 minutes and then it will expire, so just be on time for class. It's a bit typical where the lawmakers become the lawbreakers. Okay, so now here we have the list of words that we've actually come across in this whole lesson, lesson 1. So inshallah, the plan is to, at the end of the lesson, I want you to know these words. Okay, so it's good practice to actually know these words. This is your big chunk of your learning, because the more words you know, when you actually see Arabic text, what you want to do is, just as the way you read English and your mind intercepts the text and is quickly able to ascertain and know what the text is saying, you want to achieve that in the Arabic language. And the only way you're going to achieve that is you have a big vocabulary bank, whole load of words in Arabic that you know. And believe it or not, you have more exposure to the Arabic words and their meanings and less grammar, you'll be able to achieve that. That does not mean grammar is not important. It is equally as is important, but in terms of understanding the text, etc., you will require a lot of words you need to know in Arabic. So it's essential, it's paramount, and it's imperative that you know the words. Okay. Now, inshallah, in the chat as well, Telegram group, I will here and then I will be putting up the vocabulary. I'm working on it, and the idea is try to give you the singular and the plural of the words when you come to the vocabulary. So what you're doing is, in essence, you're learning actually not one word, you're learning two words. So I will actually mention it here now, orally. Okay. If you can, if you're able to, you can take a screenshot of this as well, if it's up to you. But inshallah, I'll be working on a vocabulary list. That's a list of words in each lesson. Whenever you come across at the end of when you come to the end of the lesson, you'll have a list of words. Okay, so the idea is to give you the singular and the plural. So I'll be typing these words up again, but adding the plural to these words, so it gives you a bit more of exposure to more words in Arabic. Okay, but for now, what I will do is I will just cover them orally, so you know the meaning of the words and the singular and the plural. Okay, so let's get going. So we have the first word, which is waladun, and it means boy. Okay, I can actually I'll actually say, but if you're not sure about the spelling, please do let me know in the chat. Then I can actually put it in the chat for you. The plural. Okay, so waladun. Oh, actually, what I'll do is let's see if I can just put it in the chat now, because then that way I'll only just put the plural because the singular is already mentioned. I just need to load up the Arabic dictionary. Where's the chat gone? Okay, there. So we have the first word, which is waladun. And the plural is awladun. Okay, it could mean boy, it could mean child. Okay, boy or child. Okay, next word we have is talibun. Now for this word talibun, it means student. Okay, but remember it's for masculine, because in Arabic it's important to know that words are either masculine or feminine. This is just for the literal aspect of things, not the biological reason of masculine, feminine. So talibun is actually a masculine word. Okay, so talibun has a few plurals. So we have one, which is talabatun. We have talibuna. And we have tullabun. Okay. Just confirm, can you see these words in the chat? Because okay. So talabatun, talibuna, and tullabun. Yes, okay, alhamdulillah. So if these are the three plurals for talibun. Talabatun, they use that in Urdu as well. Talaba kahan hai? Where are the students? Talabatun, talibuna, and tullabun. Okay, in this book, you'll come across the plural tullabun, inshallah. Next, we have the word rajulun. So the plural for rajulun is rijalun. Rijalun. Okay, this comes in the Quran as well. Ar-rijalu qawwamuna ala nisa'i. Men are the maintainers of women. Okay. Rijalun. Then we have tajirun. I'm only writing the plural because the singular is given. Okay. So you might want to probably jot these down. Tajirun, the plural is tujarun. Tujarun. So it's important to actually say the words to yourself because they are little, well, a slight slip of the vowel or the letter or the structure of the word, it can actually change the meaning. You can change into a verb, you can change into a plural, singular, you know. So it's always good practice to actually utter the words tujarun, okay? Because there's another word called tijaratun, which means business, trade, commerce, okay? Tijaratun. So when sometimes people hear the word tujarun, they're not sure, they just say business. No, it means businessmen. Okay, tujarun. Okay, so remember, tajirun is for masculine. Okay, so for feminine version will be tajiratun, and tajiratun will be the feminine for tajirun, the plural. Okay, because obviously it's not only men that do trade business, as women as well. Okay, so we learn from Sayyidah Khadija radiallahu anha. So next we have is kalbun. Okay, now here, just please let me know if there's anything you're not understanding in the process. Okay. Um, you have kilabun and you have aklubun. Okay. Kilabun and aklubun, which means dogs. Okay. Now, one thing might be useful for you lot here. Okay. I'll actually just put this up. If you are you up for a bit of grammar or no? Let me see if I can. Yes. Okay. Because apparently grammar's boring. Tawfiq said yes. Got it. Okay. Oh, Zoom's been updated and they've changed the way you annotate. Why do they have to do these things? Why can't they just leave it the way it was? No, I don't know what the annotation. Oh, there. Okay. Can the other participant just confirm? You okay with grammar? Sometimes it's a bit boring, but yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let me just actually put the vowels on this. think the box ain't that big, so you can't see the vowels properly. I'm not sure if you can actually make the box bigger. No, you can't. Okay, what I'll do is I'll actually type it up and then I'll say it, because some of the vowels are not coming clearly. Okay. Um, okay. Can you see those 4 patterns? Okay, so let me just put another text box below it. Okay, let me just get another text box in. Let's see if we can change the color on this one. Green. Okay, just write these words down. Okay, and then just tell me when you've wrote these words down, inshallah. Just confirm, and then, because what I don't want to do is you're writing and then try to understand. And once you wrote it down, it's easier to explain then, because you're concentrating on one few things. Let's actually change this to aqlamun, so we can actually make it, give you an example from the Quran of this. You can put aqfalun if you wrote that, it's not a problem. Okay, you've got all that down. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so let's just bring the laser back on. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So here, these 4 patterns, whenever you see a plural on these 4 patterns, it normally suggests less than 10 people. Okay, or 10 entities, or 10 whatever things you are talking about. So when you say amthilatun, it means a number between 3 and 10. Okay, so basically this in Arabic is known as, these patterns are known as jam'ul qillah. Okay, let me just get another text box there. So what happens is, whenever you see a plural on one of these patterns, it generally denotes less than 10. And that plural will be known as jam'u qillah, plural of paucity or scarcity, if that's the right word. So when you say amthilatun, it means examples, because amthilatun is a plural of mithalun. Abhurun is a plural of bahrun. which means ocean. So abhurun means oceans, but less than 10. Fityatun means youngsters. It's the plural of fatan, which means youngster. Okay, so these actually come in the Quran. Abhurun. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Luqman, verse 27. He says, وَلَوْ أَنَّ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. You can check that up. Surah Luqman, verse 27, inshallah later on. وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٌ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Which means, and if all the trees that are on the earth, so all the trees that are on the earth were to be pens, and the ocean is supported by 7 seas following it, the words of Allah would not come to an end. So 7 seas. Okay. So Abhur is mentioned in the Quran. Because he mentioned 7 seas, okay, Sab'atu Abhur, 7 seas, you use the plural Abhur because it's less than 10. Okay. Fityatun is also used in the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the people of the cave. Obviously, there's a difference of opinion. How many were they? سيقولون ثلاثة رابعهم كلبهم. Some say there were 3, the 4th the dog. ويقولون خمسة سادسهم كلبهم. Some they say there were 5, the 6th was the dog. And then ويقولون سبعة وثامنهم كلبهم. And some say there were 7, and the 8th one was the dog. Whatever the case, prior to mentioning the number of the people of the cave, just 2 pages before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Innahum, when he actually introduces the story of the people of the cave, he says, Innahum fityatun amanu bi rabbihim. They were youngsters who believed in their Lord. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word fityatun. Whichever opinion you take, 3, 4, 7, etc., it still is less than 10. So fityatun, you can see the plural is used in the Quran, but these patterns generally denote less than 10, generally. Okay. Aqlam, okay, af'alun, the previous word was aqfalun, which means locks. Aqlamun means pens. So do you understand that? So whenever you see plurals under these patterns, it generally denotes 10. But in Arabic, you will have a general rule, but then you have sometimes exceptions, etc. But it's good to know this, because then sometimes these words might have another plural, like bahrun has bihar. Okay, so bihar is plural, but it don't refer to less than 10. Okay, because it don't fall under any of these patterns. Okay, so is that clear? Do you understand that? Does that make sense to you? Yeah, well, that was fun. Okay, it's good to hear. Normally Nahwi is boring. The other participant, just confirm if anything's not clear. Just feel free to ask. Don't worry about it. If there's anything you need to ask, something that's not making sense so far, just please ask me. You can use the. Okay. Yeah, all clear. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's just carry on with what we were doing. Okay, so kalbun, we've done that. Qittun. Okay, qittun. Let me just type the plural for qittun. So we have the plural qittatun, and we have qitatun, and we have qitatun. Okay. Just 1, 2 is enough, but I just was giving you as you're going along. So you have qitatun, qitatun, and qitatatun. Okay. Next, we have the word himar. Himar. Can you just remember what himar means? Yeah, donkey. I'm going to write both plurals because in the Quran, both plurals actually appear. So you have, I'll just change the language I have. Need to bring it back to English. Okay. You got hamirun and you got humurun. Okay. You got hamirun and you got humurun. Both plurals come in the Quran. Okay. So humurun means donkeys. The one thing to remember, like I said to you, one little mistake in the vowels, okay, actually changes the meaning. So let's just get these words down. Who knows the difference between the two words I've put up? Humurun and humrun. Can you see those two words? Okay, what's the difference between humurun and humrun? So one, the meme has a dhamma, and the second one, the meme has a sukoon. Okay, anyway. Second is a verb. It can't be a verb because tanween does not have a verb. Don't have tanween. Humurun, humrun. Two words that sound more or less similar, but there's only a difference of one letter. One is vowelized and one is not vowelized. So the meme is vowelized in the first one, humurun with a dhamma, and the second one, the meme is not vowelized. It's humrun. It's got a sukoon. That's another question itself. A common mistake. The symbol is known as sukoon, and the letter that has the symbol of a sukoon is known as sakin. So let me just sometimes we need to understand, we need to actually learn the language precisely. So this symbol here is known as sukoon, but the letter that has this symbol is known as sakin. So the meme is known as sakin. The symbol is known as sukoon. What normally people say is, this is a sakin. The symbol is a sakin. The symbol is not a sakin. The symbol is sukoon. The letter that has the sukoon is known as sakin. So the meme is sakin. So we can't call the meme a sukoon. We call the meme a sakin because it has the symbol of a sukoon. And we can't call this symbol a sakin. Sakin is a letter that has the symbol. We call this symbol sukoon. It's a bit like dhammatun and madmumun. Fathatun maftuhun. Kasratun maksurun. So fathatun is the symbol. So fatha. Okay. Af'alun. The ain here has a fatha. But the ain is known as maftuhun. So fatha is the symbol. Maftuhun is the letter that has a fatha. Dhamma is a symbol. Madmumun is the letter that has a dhamma. Kasra is the symbol. Maksur is the letter that has a kasra. Same thing. Sukoon is the symbol. Sakin is a letter that has the sukoon. Common mistake. A lot of people make this mistake. They say this is a sakin. It's not a sakin. It's a sukoon. The letter is sakin. Anyway, what's the difference between humurun and humrun? Okay. Give up. I need you to say give up so I can tell you the answer. Otherwise, we might be here all day. Give up, or you want to give up? Give up. Okay, no worries. So okay, it's all good. Humurun, we know, okay, means that I'll just actually say humurun is a plural of himarun, which means donkeys. But humrun, this is without. So let me just get the later. Humurun is a plural of himar, donkey. So this means donkeys. Humrun is the plural of ahmaru, which means red. Ahmaru means red. Feminine version of ahmaru is hamra'u, which means red, but feminine. The plural for both ahmaru and hamra'u is humrun. So humrun means something which is red for plural, masculine and feminine. Okay, humrun, and they actually both come in the Quran. Okay, see if you can find out where these come in the Quran for next lesson. Okay, humrun comes in the Quran as well, and humrun also comes in the Quran. Both of them. And this one means donkeys, and this one means red, but plural version. Okay, because the plural for the words that denote color is fu'lun, the skeleton form, fu'lun. Okay, so for example, aswadu means black, sawda'u will mean black but feminine, and the plural for both of them will be sudun, fu'lun, sudun. Okay, akhdaru, green, plural is khadra'u, feminine, green, and the plural is khudurun. Okay, hisanun, what is safra'u? Okay, I think you're trying to ask with a sad. Safra'u with a hamza at the end, okay? So I'll actually type that up for you. Baqaratun safra'u means yellow. Yellow, but the feminine version, because it's obviously in the Quran, it talks about Musa alayhi salam's story. إنها بقرة صفراء فاقع لونها تسر الناظرين. Obviously, the Banu Israel, they were told to slaughter any cow, and they started just unnecessarily asking questions because they wanted to avoid the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On that note, we're talking about the Banu Israel. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, help the Muslims of Gaza, the people in Palestine. They're going through a very testing time. The Prophet ﷺ said, ad-du'a silahul mu'min. That supplication is a weapon for the believer, and we shouldn't take dua very lightly, because victories ultimately, even during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, was not due to numbers, it was due to prayers and supplication and sincerity. So we should spare some time, inshallah, to actually pray for our brothers and sisters in Gaza, Palestine, and all across the world, especially now in Palestine, where people are being displaced, homes being destroyed, etc. It's just shocking. Wallahu al-musta'an. Nahnu nastaghithu billah. Okay, so yeah, safra means yellow. Okay, the plural will be safrun. Okay, so let's move on. Hisanun. Okay, the plural, let's write that down, is husunun. That will mean horses. Jamalun. Jimalun. Okay. Can you see the harakats in the chat? Okay, I'll just go a bit quick now because we want to complete this before the lesson finishes. Adyakun, dikun, rooster. Adyakun means roosters. Mudarrisun is mudarrisuna. Mindilun is manadilu with one fatha, because you will learn in the book later on, it actually is غير munsarif. So I don't accept a tanween or al. So manadil will mean handkerchiefs. Baytun, plural is buyutun. Okay, buyutun. Baytun, the plural is buyutun. But remember, sometimes one word can have two different meanings. Okay, so let me just actually put this up. Because in Arabic, it's a language that you gotta actually research. It's a language that you can pick up, but there's so much nuances and little fine details. Baytun, plural is buyutun. Then you have another baytun. And the regime here means jama, plural. Okay. Do you know what the difference is between these two plurals? Okay. So can you see these two words here? So you got baytun, the plural is buyutun. We know it means houses, yeah? House and houses. Then we have another baytun, and the plural is abyatun. What's the difference? It's got the same word, but you got a different plural. So what's the difference between buyutun and abyatun? Any idea? Okay, I'll actually mention this one so we can actually wrap up the vocab on this. This baytun means house, and the plural is buyutun. The second baytun is in the meaning of a verse of poetry, because baytun could also refer to a verse of what? Poetry. So when you're referring to the plural form of verse of poetries, you say abyat. So abyat will mean not houses, it will mean verses of poetry. Whereas buyutun will mean houses. So houses, verses of poetry. So that little detail will help. So whenever you come across abyat, you'll know, okay, baytun means house, but this can't mean house in this context here because abyat is the plural for verses of poetry. If you see buyut, which comes in so many places in the Quran, you will know it don't mean verses of poetry because buyut is the plural of baytun, and when it's used buyutun, it's in the meaning of house. Okay. Let's carry on with the chat, inshallah. So we got masjidun, the plural is masajidu. Okay. We are covering the vocabulary, inshallah, this lesson. The idea is to learn something progressively, but in stages. What that will do is, inshallah, once I give you the full week, inshallah, to cover the vocabulary, singular and plural, next week you're going to be having a little vocabulary test in the form of flashcards, inshallah. So we'll see how well you know these words. Okay, so hopefully you're up for that. And then after that, by that time, inshallah, I would probably have made the vocabulary list with the singular and plurals, and that's for yours to keep. Okay, so you'll have a whole load of words in Arabic. Okay, that will be a good chunk of your learning in Arabic. Next, we have abwabun. Abwabun is the plural of babun, which means doors. Kitabun, we have kutubun. Qalamun, we have aqlamun. Miftahun, we have mafatihu with a single dhamma at the end. Sarirun, we have surrun, fiha surrun marfu'a in the Quran. Inshallah, a lot of the learning we want to link it back to the Quran, inshallah. Okay. You have another plural of this, which is sirratun as well. So you have two plurals. Let me just try to put a comma there. So don't cause confusion. So surrun asirratun. Kursiyun karasin and karasiyu. So you know kursiyun, there's two plurals. One is karasin. Okay, like the word qadin. Okay, qadin, hadin. Hadin means a guide. Qadin means a judge. So there's two plurals to the word kursiyun. One is karasin. So with the two kasratain at the bottom of sin, or karasiyu. Najmun, we have nujumun. Nujumun. You can have Jamul Qilla in this as well, and you can say an Jumun. Nujumun and Jumun. Okay, so Qamisun. Najmun, actually the verb Najama Yanjumu means to appear. So that's what we can see Najmun gets the meaning from. Najama Yanjumu means to appear. So Qamisun, we have Qumusun, we have Qumsanun. So Qumusun, Qumsanun. And we have a third plural, which is Aqmisatun. So Qumusun, Qumsanun, Aqmisatun. The next one, Tabibun, which means doctor. Obviously, for a male doctor, we're talking about. So the female will be Tabibatun, and the plural will be Tabibatun. So if you have a word in Arabic, let's just actually put one or two words up. So Tabibatun, 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 Shajaratun. Let's just put a few words down. Okay, so if you can see here in Arabic, when you have, should put the laser on there, when you have a word which ends with a round ta, ta'un marbutatun is known as. This ta is known as ta'un marbutatun. Let me just actually put this text up so we know. Sometimes we can't picture what the spelling is. Let's do that in blue. So ta'un marbutatun. Okay. This ta here on طيبة is known as ta'un marbutatun. Let's put another text here. Ta'un mabsutatun. Let's just put it there. Okay. Now, in Arabic, if a word has this ta, which is known as a round ta, in order to call it a goal ta, a round ta, this is known as ta'un marbutatun. Rabata actually just means to tie something. So it's like as if you tied a knot. Okay. So it's like a round ta. Okay. That's known as ta'un marbutatun. If a word ends with ta'un marbutatun, to make it plural, jam, you just add alif and ta'un mabsutatun. Mabsut is from the word basata, which means to flat. to make something flat, to flatten. So mabsutatun means the ta which is flattened. Ta'un marbutatun means the ta which has been tied. It's like as if you've tied this ta up. Okay. And ta'un mabsutatun from the word bast. Okay, which means to flatten. This ta has been flattened. Okay, you can see it's flat. It's not been tied. Okay. So ta'un mabsutatun is a flat ta. Okay. So if you have a word in Arabic that ends with a round ta, to make a plural, you'll just add alif and a. Ta'un mabsutatun, a flat ta, becomes plural. Okay. Tabibatun, tabibatun. Okay. So let's just finish the plural of tabibun. The plural is atib ba. Oh, okay. The plural of tabibun is atibba'u. Okay, which means doctors. Okay. Have you got all the vocab so far? The singular and the plural of all these words? Is everything understood in terms of the four different patterns that denote plural of paucity, jamu qillah, the difference between humurun and humrun, baytun, buyutun, baytun, abiyatun, tabibatun, tabibatun, just a bit of extra things that came to my mind. I thought I'd just share with you whilst I'm teaching. Some things, obviously, in terms of the lesson, you know, I prepare, but some things that come to mind I will mention as I go along. It's probably of benefit. So as time goes during the lesson, some things might come to my mind, and I might just share that information with you from past, obviously, teaching. So it's good practice. So hopefully, inshallah, it'll be beneficial for you. Is everything clear? Just confirm in the chat if everything's clear. If not, please ask me. I know it's past the time, but I did start late, so my bad. Okay. The idea is next week, okay, is you learn all these words, inshallah. I know we haven't actually moved on to the next lesson. Okay, that's not an issue, inshallah. Learn all these words, learn the singular, learn the plural, and you're going to have a good test next week on these words in form of a flashcards. So what will appear on your screen will be the word in Arabic to English first. So we're going to have the Arabic mentioned. So for example, you'll have waladun, you will have the Arabic, but you won't have the English. So you have to tell me what the English is. And then the next one, you'll have the English, but you'll have to tell me what the Arabic is. So don't learn one dimension of the vocab. Learn it both ways. So get someone to probably test you. How do you say chair? How do you say door? And then flip it. What does kalbun mean? What does jamalun mean? Good practice. Try to learn the singular and the plural as well, if you can. And inshallah, next week, once we complete that vocabulary test, we'll move on to lesson 2. And by that time, it would have consolidated most of these words into your mind. And then the lesson after that will become even more easy, inshallah. Okay. What did you say? Verbs cannot have tanween. Tanween. Okay. A letter that is nunated, i.e., it has a tanween like waladun, 2 dhamma or 2 fatha, 2 kasra. A verb does not have a tanween. There is actually one place in the Quran, if I'm not wrong, where a verb apparently has a tanween, but in essence it don't. Okay. I'll tell you that verb, but let's see if you can find out what's going on. It's in Surah Al-Alaq. لا نسفعا بالناصية. لا نسفعا بالناصية. So if you look at the spelling in Surah Al-Alaq of the word لا نسفعا, you'll see that it'll have a tanween, but the word لا نسفعا is a verb. So how's there a tanween on there? Let's see if you can figure that one out. Because you asked that, that's your challenge for next week. Let's see what you get. Okay. Do you understand Surah Al-Alaq? You have to find out why verbs can't have a tanween. That's bottom line. They don't have tanween. But why in the Quran does it seem like the lanasfa'an, which is a verb, despite it being a verb, it has a tanween? The extra meme for the ba. Okay, okay. I'm not going to answer anything now. Let's see what others say. I'm not saying that's the right or wrong answer. Okay, we will actually, inshallah, I'll tell you the answer to that next week, inshallah. Okay. For now, inshallah, jazakallah khairan wa ahsan al-jaza. Inshallah, we'll continue next week. Hope you have a good lesson. And I'll try my best in due time to get all this vocab typed up, the singular and plural. And once I've done it, I can actually share it in the Telegram group with the students. And then that way you'll have a record of the vocabulary as well, along with your notes. Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.